This morning we continue with the series, Direction Determines Destination. And we've asked the questions, is the path you're on leading you to where you want to go? And we found that in order to keep on that right path, you have to do something. There was a time in my life when I made some really bad choices. And I found myself in a big mess. My mother had just passed away and I was only 22. My family now consisted of my dad, my sister, and myself. All three of us were trying to deal with this great loss. We were not a Christian family, so everything was based on our own judgment and our feelings. For my sister, she kept herself going and was able to continue in the direction that she wanted to go. For me, I began going down this wide path leading to destruction. I allowed others to determine the direction I was going, and their paths were not heading the direction I had intended to go in my life. Now for my dad, his way of handling this loss was the silent treatment, with everyone around him for months. My father was not an outward emotional person. That was my mom. But the day came when he finally broke his silence. I had gotten myself in such a mess that he had to come rescue me. And after it was over, he took me aside and looking directly into my eyes, he said, "You need to stop doing the things you're doing." And that was it. Now, having my father say this to me with that look in his eyes that dads get, and the authority in his voice, was like a knife in my heart. At that time in my life, I thought, he just doesn't care. He doesn't understand. I look back now and realize that he was trying to say, you're going the wrong way. How many times has someone tried to tell you, you're going the wrong way?
The race.
Race? That's ridiculous.
All right, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Put your window down!
You want something?
He's probably drunk.
You're going the wrong way! What? You're going the wrong way!
He says we're going the wrong way.
Oh, he's drunk. How would he know where we're going?
Yeah, how would he know? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Terrific.
Thank you. What a moron.
You're going in the wrong direction! You're going to kill somebody!
People in that other car represent in your life? Parents, a friend, your children, a spouse? What about God? How many times do we sit in the passenger seat and let someone else drive? How about the times we are emotionally numb? The loss of a loved one, the ending of a marriage, the loss of a job, when we're facing a financial crisis, health issues, or during some point in our life when we just don't care anymore. How can you reach the place you want to be when someone else is determining your destination? The reality is, if we are unable to look beyond ourselves during a crisis, we will act upon our feelings, our life experience, and our lifestyle, and miss the opportunity when people come to us and try to warn us or show us a new way. Because we hold on to the very things that keep us on that wrong path. In my case, I chose my own judgment, and it took me years to get back on the right path again. We choose to stay on our highway to destruction, and we tell ourselves, I can never change the way things are. Especially when we surround ourselves with a lifestyle and people who agree with us. We will allow someone we don't even know to take the wheel and drive us down a road that leads to a dead end. These last few weeks we've talked about destinations and how something or somebody on our path can lead us to change our direction, leading us to the wrong destination. We have a choice to be wise or to be naive. We have to do something. But how do we know who to trust and which path to take? Now it seems like the one person who could have made the right decisions based on his own judgment would have been King Solomon. Solomon received true wisdom from God, and he had unbelievable wisdom. When Solomon became king of the nation of Israel, he was very young, and he had the responsibility to build the temple. One night Solomon was visited by God. The Lord appeared to Solomon during the night in a dream, and God said, ask for whatever you want me to give you. Now let's pause for a moment and think about that statement. Imagine if God came to you one night in a dream and gave you the opportunity to ask for anything. What would you ask for? Would you have responded as Solomon did? I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? God was pleased with Solomon's request, and God answered Solomon with this. Since you have asked for this and not for long life or wealth for yourself, nor have asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment and administrating justice, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never ever have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. And people came from all over to seek Solomon's wise advice. Now, imagine if Solomon was with us here this morning, and we could ask him, what should I do to know the right path to take? What do you think he would tell us? Go to college? Read my books? Google it? No, the answer can be found in the Bible, Proverbs 3. Trust the Lord completely and don't depend on your own knowledge. With every step you take, think about what He wants and He will help you go the right way. Don't trust in your own wisdom, but fear and respect the Lord and stay away from evil. Because the answer to life is not through our knowledge. We make decisions based on our own knowledge every day. And the reason we do this is because it gives us control. But many times, the result of our own decisions take us to a dead end.
Control? Yeah, I like being in control. I feel good when I'm in the driver's seat or behind the wheel. It's where I'm comfortable. It's where I feel like I'm in charge. I mean, if I want to go right, I go right. And I want to go left, I go left. I'm the one who chooses what road we go down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, guess so.
I'm not opposed to using a map for once in a while if I'm a little unsure of the area.
You ever ask for directions?
Yeah, I'll ask for directions. I'm not even opposed to stopping, but it's only ever for confirmation. I mean, think about it for a second. If I give up this position, I am essentially letting someone else tell me where they think I should go, and I just can't do that. I need to be in control. That's all there is to it. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with being in the driver's seat of my own life. It's my life, I think I know better than anyone how it should be run.
So you always know exactly where you should be going?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I handle it just fine on my own. Wait a second.
Is this where you wanted to go?
We make decisions based on our own experience, our worldview, and our own understanding. We do need to gather knowledge and information to become wiser, but Solomon is saying when it comes to choosing the paths of life, don't lean on your own understanding or someone else's. With every step you take, think about what he wants, and he will help you go the right direction. The wisest man in the world tells us if you want to end up on the right path, it won't happen by Googling it, listening to others, or hoping for it. You begin by trusting in the Lord with all your heart, with your life, your marriage, your finances, your health, your relationships. The only way you can go in the right direction is submitting your life to God. Submission precedes direction. And when you invite God into all of the areas in your life, you will know which path to take. God wants you to try his way first before you go your way. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and avoid evil. And this applied to Solomon as well, because even though he was the wisest of all, there was a time in his life when Solomon used his own judgment and understanding instead of trusting God to defend the nation. Solomon decided to marry the daughters of the foreign kings and emperors to have that alliance, because that was what the kings had always done. And by doing this, he used his own judgment, and he disobeyed God. And it ruined the kingdom, and it ruined his legacy, and it divided his family. So, what can we learn from all of this? Information is not enough. Wisdom is not enough. Insight and experience is not enough. We don't need more common sense. We need God. Because when we become prideful, wisdom is tossed aside. Think about it. When you and I get prideful, we can make some stupid decisions. The answer to life is not information and insight. It is the relationship of knowing God himself. Lean not on your own understanding. Trust God in everything. If you want to know what way is the right way to go, it begins with submission. But submission is hard for us, because we have our own expectations of how God will help us. We hold our cup out and say, "Fill me, Lord, fill my cup." But our cup is already full with our own expectations. In this next scene you're about to see, a Kung Fu student expects his instructor to teach him all the things he thinks he should know.
You think you'll teach me the no shadow kick? Oh, and the Buddha palm thing? There's a guy in Virtua Fighter 2. He does the Buddha palm technique. Thanks to and he does the iron elbow. And he does the one finger death touch. The cup's full.
Stop, it's full. Exactly. How can you fill your cup if already full? How can you learn Kung Fu? You already know so much. No shadow kick, put the palm. Empty your cup. Hopeless. It is hopeless.
How can Christ fill our cup when it's already filled with us? We must first empty our cups, and then we can fill it with God. When my son was very young, he would read his devotional book to me. One evening, he was reading about praying and making a promise to God, how to be good and to do what was right. But all of a sudden he stopped reading and he dropped his head. How can I tell God I will always pray to him and always be good? I know I'll forget to pray, and I know that I'm going to be bad. I can't lie to God. I looked at him and said, ask God to help you. He knows that we need his help. That's what grace is all about. Then he smiled and he continued reading. He forgot about God's grace. When we forget about God's grace, we begin to fill our cup with our own understanding. We choose our own direction, which determines our own destination. God wants you to try his way, not just when you're in trouble, but in every part of your life. God knows you can't do it on your own. That's why his roads are always open. They're never closed. He wants to help you through the impossible roads ahead. Let's pray.